Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Kayode. My name is Olufisayo. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen, everyone? Hello?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, anywhere you are. My name is Olufisayo Ajewale, and I'll be taking the cybersecurity session in this free bootcamp. And I want to congratulate every one of you for seizing this opportunity, because it's actually a one life opportunity. At every point you have the privilege to attend a session where it is free. And this for in KloudVistas, we are not only giving you theory, we are meeting facilitators who actually do the job on a daily basis. So in code, you can see us as your mini mentor, where we give you what is actually required, what you need. So you can see the dev session, it looks overwhelming, because those are the things that Mr. Ojo does on his normal day-to-day activities. So in this cybersecurity session, I'll just give a little introduction about myself. My name is Olufisayo Ajewale. Once again, I have about 16 years experience in IT and cybersecurity. And in my capabilities, in my 16 years of experience, I built capabilities in IT compliance, cloud security, security awareness, DevSecOps, MLSecOps, which is basically machine learning security and operations, threat modeling, security automation, incident response, and security governance, and thereabout. So basically I have some certifications, as you can see on my right. I'm still developing myself. My hobbies, I like mountain hiking. Yes, I used to do that a lot at some point. I like watching movies. And right now I'm trying to upskill myself, because in this field of cybersecurity, you can't just stay. Because basically what we do in cybersecurity is to help organizations to secure their infrastructure, their data, their people, their brand. It would be nice to just see on the website that, oh, maybe Google was hacked or something. So you are trying to to keep that brand. So those are some of the activities that we do as security professionals. We are helping the organization to secure everything about them, as long as it's data related. So so I'll go straight down so that we can have a lot of questions. Please write down your questions on the chat. So basically, cybersecurity, I'm so passionate about it because this is what I've been doing. This is what I do for a living. And basically, security is, perhaps cybersecurity is a practice. And what we do here is to protect digital assets. That's all we do. We don't stay at the gates. We don't stay at, you don't see us physically outside. But what we're doing is at the back end, we are looking at ways to protect digital assets. We are talking of hardware, network information that is processed. Where are you storing our data? How is the data being transferred? How is it being transported? And that is all we do in security. Now, there's another concept that is called information security itself. So here, this session is on cybersecurity, and information security is like the umbrella. If I'm talking too fast, please let me know. I'm actually a very fast speaker. So information security is like a big umbrella, and we have cybersecurity as a subset of it. So, and information security basically deals with protecting both digital and non-digital information. So what do I mean by that? If I'm talking to you, that is not cybersecurity. So that's why you see in some organizations, they will say, you see on the wall, don't speak about sensitive, don't speak on sensitive information or something. So I've worked in organizations where they write on the wall or maybe on the stairwell, say, oh, you are not supposed to be classified in your talk or something. So basically, speaking alone, the words you speak is information security. But the one we type in, the one we send, that is basically cybersecurity. However, the one we also speak on the phone can also be classified as cybersecurity, because it's actually going through a wired network and all that. So basically, in cybersecurity, our objectives are very, very small. We want to ensure the confidentiality of our assets. We want to ensure availability. We want to ensure integrity. Those are the key three areas. We call them CIA triad. At the same time, we also have some other ones that actually come about, like non-repudiation, in authenticity. So we have our objectives, just as you have in DevOps that my colleague just spoke about. The objective of DevOps is actually different to ensure that whatever you develop gets into operation. But in security, the objective is to ensure confidentiality of information or data, availability and integrity at the barest minimum. And in cybersecurity, our activities are actually governed by frameworks and standards. And everything we do in security, in cybersecurity's field, is we go through framework. And this is the framework we're going to, that all the things we do is governed by. So what we do is all our activities, the first thing we do is to identify what are we protecting. You cannot protect what you don't know. So if you don't know that there is money somewhere, there's no way you can protect that money. If you don't know there is an asset somewhere, there's no way to protect it. So basically what we do is to identify. So you see some activities we are doing on identification, we are doing some activities on protection, we are doing some activities on detection, we are doing some activities on responding, and we are doing some activities on recovering. So the barest minimum, this is what all we do. This is all what our activities in cybersecurity space is all about. Yeah, in cybersecurity as well, we have a lot of jargons. We have a lot of technical jargons. We speak of patching, and basically these are just jargons, and because they are unique to the field. And if you are not in that sphere, you will not understand. For instance, when you see a lady making up, that is patching, basically. So a lady trying to patch up our pimples or a face is called patching in security, because we're trying to look at vulnerabilities and patches. So in this information set, in this bootcamp, we're going to be exposing you to a lot of IT jargons, because ordinary wanting to apply for a particular job, the jargons in there can actually scare you off. But by the time you are exposed to it, you know that, oh, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, they're just saying they want to patch. Yeah, they're saying they want to, is a botnet. Yeah, they're saying it's a virus. Yeah, they're saying they're doing penetration testing. So all those terms, we also expose you to it. And that brings me to how you can, what are the career opportunities that we have in cybersecurity? In the cybersecurity field, we have both technical and non-technical roles, just as we have in DevOps as well. And some of our technical or not technical role all form to the minimum, at least in these 12 domains. So we're talking of governance, incident response, digital forensic, application security, security compliance, education, threat intelligence, identity governance, security analyst, security architect. There are some people that, just like we have architects that draw how that, try to draw a plan for a house, we also have security architects, but not that you're going to be drawing on paper, but you're going to like conceptualize how security controls will be put in different areas in the IT system of an organization. Okay, so moving to the non-technical part first, at the governance team, we're going to be having policy writers. So let me just give a little understanding of policy writing. Now, in cybersecurity, in any organization, whether bank, hotel, hospital, institution, schools, they have an objective. And most of them that are non-profit, the basic thing is that they want to make profit for any organization, anything in their business. So an organization is basically established to make profit. Okay. So, however, if you are in any industry you are in, for instance, maybe in the medical industry, in medical field, we have there are some standards that, okay, before you can effectively operate as a company, these are the rules that you must comply with. So those are actually standards or framework that govern that particular industry. So at the same time, in the country where you operate, there are also some regulations, laws and regs that everyone in that needs to comply with. So basically, so that's it. So as a policy writer, you are not coding, you are not securing anything. All you are doing is to check, okay, what are the policies that relates to my industry in Canada? Like IPA is on healthcare, like PCI DSS, you're working in bank, or you're not even working in bank. If your organization is processing card holder data, you should actually comply with the what's called PCI DSS standard. So we have ISO 27001, which basically is not particular to any industry, but it is to present yourself, any organization, as a cyber controlled, or you are like a good business organization to deal with. What do I mean by that? If, for example, we have some banks in Nigeria, let's say GT Bank now, and wants to do business with Bank of Canada. So if GT Bank is ISO certified, Bank of Canada is like, oh, okay, that's it makes, because it sells you. So those are the kind, that is the reason why some companies actually get certified, because it's part of your branding. So policy writer, they will look at those policies and guidelines and convert them. So you can look at this screen, we have laws, policies, laws and schedules, that is regulations and law in a country, and these are the country laws, these are the industry laws. Then then the policy writer starts from here and start drawing policies from this to make sure that they comply with this regulation. Most organizations don't, some organizations actually lose money, not to only hackers, but also to regulatory fines. So that means that if there's a regulation in your country and it's saying that before you can collect card holder data, you have to do XYZ, and your company fails to do it, you get a penalty. So as a policy writer, you're looking at what are the standards, frameworks, laws in that particular country and in that particular industry. Then you draw it and write it for your company to follow. So basically, that's just it. And whether you are technical or not technical, you have to understand what are the regulations. Because if you are a developer and you don't understand that, oh, I have to encrypt this particular data at some point in time, then you might be exposing your organization to fines and maybe even cyber risk, other form of cyber risk. So at that point, we move to the next one, which is risk management. Risk management is also a non-technical function, because what basically they do is in every organization, we have an enterprise risk. Then we have let's say in the financial industry now, where I'm very familiar with, we have the credit risk portion, we have the market risk portion, we have the operational risk portion, then we have the cyber risk portion. So at the cyber risk portion, all you are doing is to look at, okay, what is the methodology you are using on our company to manage risk? Then you apply it to assess cyber security in your organization. Yeah, so we move to awareness. For instance, you don't need to be a coder to research on what are the risks that an organization can be exposed to. So we are looking at cybersecurity awareness campaign, where you write you probably write some bulletins to say, do not share your password, do this, do not do that, do not. There are people, they are just like that. That just be what's called the job function will be security awareness and culture what's it called, analyst or something. So those are the kind of jobs that are available for non-technical career people that wants to still function in cybersecurity space, but they don't like the technical stuff. So we also have compliance officers. Yes. So in some organizations, we have compliance officers everywhere. However, if you develop your capabilities in cybersecurity space, you have an understanding of how it is, you'll be able to function effectively as a compliance officer. At the same time, even lawyers, now a lot of organizations lose money and they lose their case in court because probably their legal officers in the organization don't even know how to conduct investigation or don't know how to prosecute a criminal activities, especially cyber criminal activities. They don't even know the laws. They don't even know which one they should even, they don't know the laws and regs that they can use to back up their particular, to back up a particular case. So we see a lot of organizations now, and it's a lot of lawyers moving into this cybersecurity field. So moving to the technical portion, yes, this is where most of us, probably before this exposure, you were thinking maybe everything about cybersecurity is technical. No. So we've talked about the non-technical part, and now we're moving to technical role. And the first thing you really see in most organizations is probably a application security team in the application security team, because every company right now, we all ride on IT. Everybody have mobile app, everybody have internet banking, most organizations have internet banking and all that. So before they release a code from development to operations, you can see in the last from the last presenter, there was a sec session in there. So where we have the DevSecOps, and that is where these guys are into. They look at all the development that is going on in the organization, and they look at how do we secure this thing? What are the pipelines? What are the CI/CD pipeline? Don't mind, we have jargons in IT. You know, I told you, when I first heard about CI/CD pipeline, I was like, what's CI/CD pipeline? Yeah, so I had to upskill myself. It's okay. I had to move to some developer. Please, what do you mean by CI/CD pipeline? Oh, officer, okay, this is what it means. Okay, I understand it. And basically, it is just different stages of the application development lifecycle. So I also encourage you, probably if you want to take this cybersecurity, you want to register for the cybersecurity bootcamp, to also consider the DevOps, because you're going to need it. Yeah, at some point you're going to need, because you don't know the job you're going to expose to. And you might not see all these job functions readily stated out. You can only see all these application security or product team lead, SecOps team, engineering team, security engineer, security analyst in a very big organization. In an organization that is less than 50 or less than 100, you are a security consult, especially, you will do all this work. That is the irony of it. So they will expect you to do CI/CD security. They will expect you to do SOC analyst. They will just model up some of those job adverts on LinkedIn and on the internet. You will see yourself doing 4 or 5 of these activities. Then you come and say, no, I'm a security person. However, that is how you have to do it. If you get a bigger organization, then the job can get streamed down one after the other. So I will surely encourage you to subscribe for the developer suite as well. So we have the engineering team, where the security architect, yes, the security architect and security engineer, those are the people that engineer, like develop security solutions in a way, do some kind of automation, write some codes and the like. Then we have security analyst. Security analyst is if you go to LinkedIn right now, you see over maybe like 4,000 vacancies for security analysts. And this is most of the entry point for security professionals. Because all security analysts do is, most of the time, they run tools. So you see them running vulnerability scanning tools. They're the ones that check maybe creating users, maybe trying to generate a report. Most of them work in SOC. They work in the Security Operations Center. So it's one of the most the most available path into security space. Yeah, so you see that you see security, when you see a security analyst role, you see that you have a lot of opportunities in there. Then we also have vulnerability managers and penetration testers. Yeah, and I remember I told you that you might get a job that you have to do all these things. Yes, you are doing the SecOps, you are doing pen testing, you are doing vulnerability scan, because majorly what you are doing in vulnerability scan, you are not writing code. All you are doing is to run it. You just log into an application, vulnerability scanning software that your organization is using. You run the scan, you make sure that the agents are running, you generate the report, then you try to say, okay, which one am I going to treat and which one am I going to send to the application owners and the likes. Then as part of our jargons, we have a jargon, we say blue team, purple team, red team. Don't mind us. They're just trying to tell you that there's a team of people, the blue team, a team of people that try to defend the organization. Like those are the kind of people that try to secure the infrastructure. Then we see the red team. Those are the kind of people, they're also internal to the organization. They're trying to check, to try to break in, but you don't see this thing in a small industry. You see it probably in a very big organization where they have a lot of security professionals in different fields. You see them break into blue team, purple team, red team. If you're working in not a very robust organization, you will never see blue. You will be the one to be doing all the team. You are blue, you are purple, and you are red. Yeah, so that is it. That's the irony of this industry. So I want just to tell you and to keep you abreast so that you have your understanding. So you start saying, I want to be a blue team security expert. There's nothing like a blue team. You might see yourself doing all these things at the same time. So let's look at the non-technical skills that you need. As a security professional, you need to be passionate. You can see how my voice is. I'm very passionate about my job. I learn a lot. I try to learn. I'm very curious. Like when ChatGPT came about, I was like, oh, what is ChatGPT? Okay, let me even check. What are the vulnerabilities? Okay, what are the things I can learn from there and all that? Then you have to be an effective communicator. You have to be able to communicate your intent because if you don't effectively communicate, there could be an issue. You are generating reports. You are saying there's a vulnerability here, and that vulnerability needs to be closed. However, if you miss anyone and say there's no vulnerability here, and that vulnerability is exploited, that's the problem. So you should be able to, your English, your construct must be very precise. Then you should be able to prioritize. If you're working in an organization, imagine if you're a security professional and you're working in a you're drill about 4 or 5 things I've just spoke about in my previous slide. So, and you are getting requests to do this, requests to do that. You have to be able to prioritize and say, no, this is like, okay, these are the low hanging fruit. Okay, I can just do this and get going on. However, this will take me a lot of time. Okay, I have to communicate to my manager and say, my manager, please, I will need like extra hours to do this. You have to manage your time. You have to be able to negotiate. What I mean by negotiation is not you're negotiating money. You're negotiating your time. You're negotiating the kind of job you can do. You understand? There are times everybody will just be coming to it request and say, no, I'm sorry, I don't have bandwidth for this at this time. Then you have to be an effective team member because no one is an island of knowledge. You cannot do everything on your own. You have to have friends. If you're the kind of person that you keep malice, this is not your job. Yeah, because you cannot keep malice because you don't know everything and you have to secure everything. That's the challenge. You don't know everything. You don't know, for instance, you're an organization and your company just signed up on an IoT project like infrastructure, Internet of Things. You don't know IoT, but you have IoT engineer and you're keeping malice IoT engineer. You're on your own. Yeah, so you have to make sure you network, have good relationship with different people because you have to secure everything they are doing. You have to have relationship with the SOC team, application development team, and the likes. Yeah, another thing I want to focus basically is upskilling and multi-skilling. They are 2 different words. Upskilling means, in my understanding, upskilling means you are in this level today in cybersecurity and you are like increasing daily. Okay, vulnerability scanning. Okay, today I want to know how to do a penetration test. Tomorrow I want to know how to do a security, to do the DevSecOps. I mean, to maybe do another security task. However, multi-skilling is having another skill different from security, like DevSecOps, yes. So if you multi-skill, you are learning data science, data analysis. Because if you're working in SOC team and you need to, and a lot of logs that are coming in, and you have to make intelligence out of that log. That if you don't know anything about data analysis, then you might not be able to do your work effectively. So at some point in time, you have to extend your boundary to another kind of, so that is multi-skilling. You're trying to learn this data analysis. You understand? You want to make presentation. You want to make presentation. You can also multi-skill to what's it called? Business analysis and the likes. Then please, you have to sleep. To manage stress, go on vacation, go on leave, and the like. We do that a lot, but I've not done one this year. Okay, so cybersecurity, career tech. So these are the technical skills that we need. Basically, knowledge of the technology is number 1. You cannot protect what you don't know. If your organization, if you are looking at an organization, let's say you're targeting, everybody has a target. Like you're targeting to work in maybe Walmart, and you find that in Walmart they use AWS. So what do? You start learning AWS because you cannot secure what you don't know. So you better you understand, okay, this is AWS infrastructure, this is how it works. Then you can in some at the same time, you have to, in every career adds what's the name? As the tools that we use. So in cybersecurity, we use different tools like vulnerability scanning, penetration testing tools, version control system, IDs, shell scripting, and the likes. So these are some of the tools that we are going to also expose you to if you sign up for this bootcamp. Then risk management process. You have to understand, okay, what is risk management process? Then threat modeling, yes, because in threat modeling, you have to understand the concept. I don't want to say so much because you have not signed up. Until you sign up, then I will let you know. Then you have to familiarize yourself with some operating systems and emerging technologies. Then hybrid skills, everybody has to know this. I've talked about it. Everybody has to understand the standard. You understand? You are working in a PCI DSS controlled environment. Developer must understand what PCI DSS is. Yeah. So you have to know some of these things, like even Jira collaborating tools, agile tools, and the like. PowerPoint presentation. If it's not like your boss will tell you to give him a summary of a particular finding and you're going to write it in Microsoft Word, you are kind of degrading your appraisal. So you have to know how to use some of these tools as well. Yeah, so in the job market, if you look at the last time I checked, for people in Canada, cybersecurity analysts in Canada, I think is well positioned more in Alberta. So if you're in Alberta, there are a lot of opportunities for you as a system security analyst. But if you're living in this area, for instance, they were able to determine and the like. So I'm just trying to let you understand that cybersecurity career is actually a good one for everybody to venture in. And entry level security, so anything, when I put in on LinkedIn, entry level, and I said cybersecurity in Canada, and these are all the jobs. I have about 1,000 plus. There are 1,000 plus entry level positions in cybersecurity in Canada. I just put in cybersecurity, not to talk of maybe a policy writer or cyber risk analyst or the likes. Then associate, that is the middle level now. So we have about 161 as of the last time I checked, this about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Then mid to senior level, we have about 1,500. So I presume that most of people on this call will probably fall in this bucket. So there's a lot of opportunity for every one of us. Yeah, so looking at how will I advance my career? For this, the entry level. For instance, let's say we already have audit experience. You can start at an IT auditor, but focus on cybersecurity. Then incident and intrusion analyst and the like. So I wouldn't want to dwell so much on this, but just to tell you that these are most of the entry level positions that you're likely to see, and these are the middle level positions you are probably likely to see, and these are the advanced position you are likely to see. Now, be mindful when you are looking for a job or you are placing yourself on a particular pedestal that you always check the job function. So what do I mean by that? When you see cybersecurity specialist, you might see that most of the things you're doing here are basically maybe you're doing policy, maybe you're writing policy, but that company decides to name it as cybersecurity specialist. But if you check the job description, it's basically writing policies. Okay, then you go to another company and you see cybersecurity specialist. But in this one, you are doing intrusion detection, you are doing threat modeling, you are doing this and that. So if you submit your CV of a policy writer into this one, definitely you will not be shortlisted. So invariably, what I'm saying is that whenever we're looking for job, which are some of the guidance, they're going to give an information session. Yeah, so we have to be specific when we are actually job hunting at this time. Yeah, so for you to register for the security for the bootcamp, these are some of the things we're going to teach you: security concepts, security of network, vulnerability, pen testing, identity governance, and we'll also teach you how to build your network. Then the question which I'm expecting is certification. Are you telling me that I will not write any certification? I'm not telling you that, because certification is just like, there's no way, if you didn't go to university, there's no way I can employ you. You can't tell me you know everything. Your certificate from uni is the first entry. At the same time, when it comes to cybersecurity, at least you have one. Yes, as time goes on, we're going to encourage you and guide you on how to have at least one that in no time you're going to get, you're going to be fine in this career. Thank you very much.